And welcome back. We're picking up where we left off last time in Humankind on Empire difficulty in the third part of our second stream. In the last one, we did succeed in ending the game. Of course, because of how we succeeded in ending the game, we weren't actually in a state of winning. So, we kind of probably lost. We reloaded back to before we lost. But the plan is to not lose. So we're gonna try loading up from the previous save. Well, we already loaded up from the previous save. We're going to try winning from the previous save, which is mainly trying to get our fame up before we subjugated everyone. Subjugate everyone. Cannot be done retreating. Okay. Fine. Let's stay there. You're on the march. That's where we want you to be for the siege. You're done building what you were doing, so get the wonder going. +2 access, +1 industry. In theory, the access in theory will provide more industry to various places. Definitely take that. Industry per industry worker. Influence. We definitely need more influence. Because we now have the science quarters and it's making a bunch of science, that's also making a bunch of science. And we'll reevaluate at that point. Okay. I may take a break from actually building things there to build more troops. We'll see how some of the fighting goes on. I need to replace... Well, our units are actually smaller than they need to be already, so we can put more troops in our armies marching about. Feudalism researched. 3 turns we can upgrade the cav. I'm gonna wait until we actually have some siege weapons here. I don't necessarily need a lot of siege weapons, but I would like a couple. Urgent affairs. Political entitlement. Aristocracy, which is +1 combat strength on emblematic unit, or Republic, +3 combat strength on militia. If we can afford it, we'd want to do the emblematic unit. Although I don't have the influence either way. And there's definitely lots of places where I want to be spending influence. So we can attach you to call. I don't really want to attach to call, because ideally I actually want to merge. I either want to merge to call, or I want to get more city limit. Whichever happens first. You've only got one place to attach to. We got enough to attach to, so we'll patch you. Why is the construction progress frozen? Oh, because the city's under siege. Of course it does. So anything outside the city can't be worked on. That's all of those. Okay. Okay, so we'll be able to get that done in turn. That's worth building, given the circumstances. Some more line of sight wouldn't be harmful. And that's at least 2 turns, so we'll see where we're at in 2 turns. Actually, the city is under siege. Why? It's all the current construction for details. Oh, because the stability is too low. Okay. Then that's kind of not... We don't want those. We want to raise the stability. And this is the city that is... Because this is the new city, this doesn't actually have a lot of stuff. Okay, Commons quarters. I think 2 stability if we put it there. Okay. That's, in theory, stabilizing stability. Still need more than that. So, 5, 5, 5s, bunch of 5s. Okay. So you're 5, and the other one's 5. So you give us another 5 on garrisons. We get more from garrisons than we would commons quarters. If we're just throwing out random locations for stability purposes. Okay, so you need more stability. A lot of our places have the old Roman garrisons and stuff like that, which provides much stability. So I was kind of underestimating how much we need to stability. Because the old places are rock solid from a stability perspective. Okay. And then you're going to start up a siege. 6 in the garrison. We can probably handle 4v6. Yeah, we can probably handle 6v6. Let's actually just go to assault. Manual battle. Here we go. Successfully storm that location. Occupying the city.
You bring your stink here? Open the windows.
Buffing our support, harming their support. Yeah, probably one of the Jaguar War. Let's pick that up fairly early in the queue. So you can see we can build those we can build military units real fast. We need replacements. So our subject got into a battle. We reinforced our subject's army. It was good. Siege weapons. I'll have the next siege weapon in a turn. Ideally, I think we want 2 siege weapons before we start this fight. So, is what it is. Conquered empires. What's our outlook on conquest? We can get anti-imperialists, so plus 20 war support after winning a battle against an imperialist empire. Frees all our current vassals and generates grievances against empires of the vassals. Or, and obviously prohibits from vassalizing empires. Or we can just do imperialists and say, nah, we like subjects. I don't have the influence to pick either of these options. It would probably be right side for us. In the meantime, do we have enough influence to add another territory? In fact, I should not add another territory to that location, because that location needs to have itself stabilized. You could add to one of two places, although both of those could cost more than we've got. Okay. Well, at least that's an occupied place. I'm not worried about rebellion there. I'm a little bit more worried about that. If I put you in the city, does that provide a stability bonus? I think it does. Yes. Okay, so as long as we're in the city, we are not going to go 0 there. So that actually kind of ties that army up for the moment. 2 turns, we'll get the second siege weapon, which is where I want to do the attack. Okay.
Keeping the peace.
As feudal structures prove practical for both farming and warfare, certain codes and practices arise that, ideally, ensure a fair and honourable society.
We invented chivalry. Really going and ransacking that location. Can I even get there in 3 turns? Cavalry might be able to. No, they're looking like they're 5. Due to all the rivers in the way. I come bearing steam. An inventor ostracized from their own country on account of their religion, her religion, has come offering their scientific expertise. She wishes to settle it in the city of so-and-so, where she believes she could work productively. Her pioneering work on the fundamentals of engineering could be vital, but the fact she is not a follower could make things difficult. Reject, use, or naturalize. Swap to open-minded from religious on religious tolerance. We'll just use. Probably would have been pretty powerful, maybe to take the right option. We're gonna delay on that at least. Okay, we're doing what we can to stabilize the garrisons will help. How much are we actually getting from the troops? 70 from station troops. We're not gonna be able to move this army for a long time. Okay. +1 land movement on units, +1 naval movement on units, maximum holy sites, lowers the industry cost for our army units again. Okay. Says unit slot for every army, supply lines is city camp. Oh, theology is city camp. So let's grab the theology. Then we'll give up trying to merge cities for the moment. I'll remove this penalty. one more city than the normal 4. Emperor's having... It's only a 10 influence cost. Like, that's not... For 1 over, that's not that bad. Can we upgrade these guys? Not all of them. We just do 2. Take those 2. Osmosis event.
A wondrous work indeed. No doubt the neighbors are eyeing you with a great deal of jealousy.
Do I want influence? No, I still kind of want that knowledge. So we're going to say refuse here, even though it's going to provide a stability hit. Yeah, that's the problem, but it is what it is. We're gonna grab 4 outposts, and then let's work to supply lines. Because the city cap here means we could take a city in war. We need to. Do we have a second siege weapon? We do. Let's assault. Manual battle. Okay. In the round. I suspect that one is probably going to get jumped. Yeah, completely jumped. Semi-expected. That's the garrison. Got us another militarist star, giving us more fame. We're now securely in 3rd, although we still need to work to get up to 1st. And we're occupying that city.
I do not live for revenge.
And at this point, their war support is going down rapidly. We need to wait for these guys to pick up the moving points. I'm gonna free up the melee guy, and we're gonna move the melee guy off somewhere else. And yeah, I think it is. I think it's time.
Rears its head, both figuratively and literally. Another empire has built the Colossus of Rhodes.
Another empire has built the Colossus of Rhodes. Okay. I think we're the only one who can claim the tier 4 ones. Yeah. So we're gonna have our pick of the tier 4 ones. Like, that'll be really good for picking Fame. +1 combat strength for veterancy would be really good for fighting. Faith per district. Let's see, we'll probably pick up the Fame one first, just because we're trying to get out of last in Fame. Well, at this point we're out of last. Trying to get up to first, so that we can end it. Yeah, I think the first city that finishes what they're building of the old cities. Well, maybe even of the new cities. That would be one way, I suppose, to keep the queue busy. Instead of working on things that are going to make it less stable. More outpost research. That got us an era star. No, we've got all the militarist stars. We've got 1 science star, 2 expansion stars. We're going to work on a 3rd expansion star. Which one we could air up. We're nowhere near ready to air up. So we got to sit back here and farm a few at least. Yeah, we're not going to get there in time to save it from being burnt down. Okay, and then we want you to just start, like, running home. So we can merge you up with that army. So that's like the army. You're probably intact enough we can continue campaigning. So you were positive and then you weren't. Something changed. Okay. We're gonna grab the garrison here. After we got the garrison, we can grab City Watch, which is far cheaper than grabbing another garrison, which will raise another 5. It'll make all the future garrisons worth an extra 5. I suppose one of the other options... Oh, well, it's not exactly an option, because I can't... Without disconnecting too many, I can't do... Okay. Yeah, so let's cycle the turn. I'm working on getting Seawans down, which will help a bunch of the science. Picked up a grain star, that's nice. And that's going to hound us, reminding us that we can air up. But we're definitely not ready for that. We need the technology to go with the air up. let's see how that deployment mission works. Yeah, that wasn't a particularly great volley. Not gonna work with that. Okay, don't necessarily like the amount of damage we're taking on our melee, but it's not necessarily a completely terrible thing. Definitely taking more losses than I'd like. We might not actually completely win this battle. Yeah, that's a lot closer than I'd like. But that's not necessarily a problem. We can definitely replace our combat losses a
Your
lot quicker
people
than they can.
see it as a place of safety and a symbol of power. Only your friends know of the extensive wine cellar.
I think this is a reference to the garrison we just built. Okay, that gets a positive again. all they got left? No, we don't get a firing arc from there. Whoops. Yes, that is all they got left there. Okay, so that was a bloody affair. But I think they've only got one unoccupied city left at this point. So they should be
I do not live
very
for
unwilling to
revenge,
continue this war for much longer.
but I could die for it.
Yeah, so they're only going to drop one this turn, although they're going to lose more next turn. So we'll probably be able to negotiate with them next turn. And then you're marching west, whereas we have an army marching east. There's the eastward army. Here we go. So we can get those armies together. You don't have anything to build right now. And I definitely need a new army. So, in the process, what is there anything we want built specifically before we build this army? Fort, not so much. No, I guess we just don't have any of the buildings yet that affect what I'm thinking about. So, and yeah, our troops are pretty cheap, as you can see. 5 of those, 2 of those. It's going to take 3 turns to build an entire army. And this is basically going to empty the city out in those 3 turns, because it's 7 people from a city of 9. So the city's going to have to repopulate. That's fine, I can work with that. And at this point, it's cheaper to attach to Call than Kossus? Yes. So go to Tikal. Okay, before I attach more things to Tikal, I need to build more happiness in Tikal. I suppose this army is not going to be setting out on the march, because we're going to need to occupy the place for a bit. So we fix mistakes. Fix the past mistakes. Get attention to the capital in the front.
12
another Era Star.
expansionist stars. You're going to end up sharing a border with everybody.
Said you're going to end up sharing your border with everyone eventually. A bit late for that. We already share a border with everyone. You want peace. You're going to give me a bunch of stuff that I'm not sure I actually want. So we're going to refuse, and we're going to wait at least one more turn. Yeah, I don't think the capital's going to have a loyalty problem. No, the capital doesn't. With a 39 surplus, so it might actually have a happiness problem in that we might be able to see that we don't have max happiness anymore. Once all those buildings are built. But then there's some easy fixes for that, like we click the City Watch, which is 20 stability, so on and so forth. You've got a new territory, so we probably want to grab you and the new one. And your surplus, you're 104% surplus, so you can definitely be building stuff. Although we've got so much... been picking up tech so quickly now that we've got a desire for more tech. We want to catch up on tech before we actually pick one of these. I wanted to see the stars. Okay, so we still got 3 science stars. We probably, once we collect all 3 science stars, that's probably when we want to tech up. Or air up. We're going to air ahead of everyone, so in theory, if we had modern troops, by our standards, we'd actually have better troops.
I do hate to be the bearer of bad news, but a stealth army has entered your empire. Very, very stealthily.
Oh, we got a glitched unit. Okay, I'm gonna have to do a quick save and load. Oh, we won the battle. Okay. Yeah, you're still gonna go join up with those guys. That was rebels because our loyalty was too low again, and it's still too low. Oops. Okay, well let's stabilize the place. We're still being told we can't build those because of the low stuff. That's fine. Yeah, should hopefully fix itself for the next couple turns. We're gonna at least wait until the archers have spawned in. And you want to basically pull back to pick up reinforcements as well. So you can swing by where those guys are. Yeah, right. There we go.
I do not live for revenge, but I could die for it.
So they should be willing to negotiate next turn. Punishment. +1 stability per population on all cities, or forfeiture, or physical punishment or forfeiture. Okay. If we had the influence, we'd probably go for the physical punishment, because I need the influence, or I need the stability some places. Sacrificing. We don't need the line in the military industry cost reduction. Overproductive. Sculpt for stability. Look at Sculpt for stability. Defiant has been removed on location. Okay. It's now considered useless. Okay, it's not much better. centralized power. Most notably, that's upgrade for our spearmen. Regimental system. Okay. Ongoing war can now be ended. You have rebelled against the
Your
liege.
empire is an enigma.
Salve the wounds you caused, and we can move on.
You have hit the rock bottom of my contempt and hatred.
Okay. So they've split up. Although
I'm
we can
already
make peace with this
angry.
guy.
Do not drive me to violence.
Gonna ask for their surrender. Obviously, I can't take any of the person who just declared independence. So I want to take. We probably want to just take the territories off if we can. Although I'd have to take that whole. We're about to get another city space, so we'll just take the whole city. And then we'll leave his cities with just cities for the moment.
I heard such good things about you. The truth is disappointing.
We'll wait a couple turns before we demand the trespassing. We don't necessarily want to go back to war right away. Take the copper mine immediately. Yeah, I'm not gonna rush to do the science right away. And let's try to get these armies back to places where we can fill them up. We're also now not at war anymore. For the moment, at least. For the moment, at least. So, we can prepare for some potential future wars. Oh yeah, don't burn down our own territory. That sounds like a terrible plan. Okay, we just stood this army up. I'm gonna put this in the capital so we have a garrison in the capital. Got honored due to taking the chance of triggering another event in the last one. Okay. Yeah, that's probably enough place for you. Just heal up there. And we're working towards a tech that's gonna give us another city limit. So we're taking an influence hit for 7 turns.
Have a seat. Have a glass. Let's get to know each other.
Change your ways, or an intervention will be necessary.
What are you doing? Friend or not, you must change your relations.
This is clear. You are poison.
not do that quite yet. Where are our troops, and are they ready to do things? Oh, we got mocked. Oh, dear. Depending on where we are, that might be a stability issue. Although apparently not in the capital, not there. Call's getting pretty close to it being an issue. We're getting City Watch there for some stability. Try to boost the stability so we can afford to grab more of the science ones. Roma, the hit to the stability is a little bit of an issue, but it's only a little issue. 10 stability by doing that. 15 stability by doing that. So once those are in, then all the stability will be better. In theory, we've fixed whatever the source of the stability was here for the moment, at least. Although we want to take the army out of the city, and the army is providing 70. So in fact, probably are at the point where I can just take the army out of the city. Even if it's just a temporary solution. Well, say solution. Even it's so that I'm not accounting for the army in the calculations. Because the station units should go away. Although, I guess it depends on what's considered in the city. It's in the zone still, which might be what's confounding there. Now it's definitely out of the city. Yeah, so it's going to go to 42. We want it to be higher than that when the army's not there, because the army's not always going to be there to babysit. We're in third. We're coming pretty quickly up on second. We want 3 Jaguar warriors added to this army. This city can probably build that pretty quickly. Yeah. In fact, because of how cheap Jaguar warriors are and how productive we are, we can build 3 Jaguar warriors in a turn. At which point you can probably move on and start building some of these science buildings. Okay, so something changed and you're now not particularly stable. I suppose you were maybe being stabilized by units being in you. And if that was the case, I could fix that by just deploying more units. Yeah. That should fix the stability. Okay, so I could deploy more troops if we wanted to really rely on troops. I don't really want to rely on troops. It's that problem. Of course, now we're also getting complaint. Yeah, that was Tikal. Okay, so Tikal's solved for the moment. Get on science and industry. Probably want money. Oh, actually, you're at the point where you do actually just need food. Not a lot, but some. And then Roma. Okay, so the construction is frozen because we're below 25 stability. That's going to go up. It just hasn't gone up yet. And then probably the best way to keep that up is to build another garrison somewhere. Let me get that done first. So next turn, it'll stabilize and we'll be able to build those buildings. It'll actually have enough stability without the garrison done to be able to support those buildings, but we're still going to want more stability there. And then you finished building up that army. Okay, you've gained more people to put on more science.
You have my greetings, but that's all that you're getting.
So I could get after them for 2,000 money.
Let us formalize our mutual appreciation.
That is unlikely.
You know, we'll accept this. I don't see no reason to say no.
It is mediocre and I'm being generous, but we can live with it.
They're very much down
This is
for
cause for
war a
celebration.
lot more than us.
Let's take a moment to enjoy life.
Because apparently I'm impressing their people.
Such
Actually demand
transgression
mine.
cannot be simply dismissed.
And then attempt that with proposal disfusal.
We could act with more dignity. Wiser statecraft benefits us both.
This does very little to placate me. Try harder.
This is not an amusing pantomime. I find your proposition...
Let's see if they declare on us. I don't think they will. Foreign customs. Well, I don't think I can accept the stability hit for the cultural eradication, even if I wanted the influence on territory. Sacred cows. Ruling the empire may well be in hand, but your citizens are increasingly drawn to cultures of the Mongols. How do we view these strange customs? We're just going to close and kind of ignore them for the moment.
Now that the city has 15 research quarters, it's going to need thousands of coffee shops.
Thousands of coffee shops.
I do not live for revenge, but I could die for it.
Back to the tech tree. So obviously one of the reasons we're not wanting to air up into 5 is because we're not even done. We can't even research a tech in 5 yet. So that's maybe a sign that we're not quite ready for 5. Luxury manufacturing would actually be pretty good. Where are we? I'm gonna risk. So we're gonna click here. We're gonna click there. How many more? Oh, we need a lot of sciences to pick up another science star. 6 more at least. It's not even gonna tell me how many I need to get to all of them. So backfilling, we're talking like 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we're actually in just Era Vortex at that point. Make the armies bigger. 5. I need at least 6 to... Now let's figure out what the gunpowder... Or build the gunpowder before we figure out where it is. Okay, so that's the 6. Then we'll revisit when we pick up the Era Star. And yeah, slowly working up the fame. We're 200 behind at number 2. And only like 500 behind number 1. I at war. Reinforce your ally against the Huns.
You have my greetings, but that's all that you're getting.
I'm sure you meant no harm, but you must make it right.
Your code is mere stupidity.
Okay. So whether I want to be at war with these guys, I'm basically at war with these guys. Okay.
We have exhausted peaceful solutions.
Why was that one able to fire, but this one isn't allowed to? I don't know. Now it's... Apparently the gap between the 2 infantry there is enough to get through. Get the fire through, okay. pull you back into the rear so that one doesn't get lost. My understanding is where we can fire between the troops, if it's like so, we can fire that way. Okay. Okay, that's their other city. How quickly can I get my troops down there? Probably pretty quickly. Two turns. Entertain, because we don't need to mobilize. And then from a wonder standpoint, 500 something. Okay, so that's quite expensive. As much as I'd like to maybe build some. We just pulled the troops out of Roma. Is it stable? It's stable enough, let's say. We probably want it more stable, but it's stable enough. And we're probably not going to be building districts anytime soon. I need to get infrastructure upgrades done. We need to catch up on infrastructure upgrades.
There's a stealth army inside your empire's territory. Now, any ideas on what they might get up to?
It depends upon whom from. Mischief, obviously. Okay, they started by effectively delaying our advance. Tikal definitely needs more stability. I suppose again, one solution to that is I can just raise more troops. Garrison the city. Yeah, because I want to spend some time building some of these improvements. That means the temporary solution is probably the best solution for the moment. So we'll just... That'll be the temporary solution, and then it's to building these stuff. So 7 plus industry. Industry per worker isn't going to be too good right now. Same with food. Food in the harbor is not very good. Free money on harbor is not very good. Two horses, I believe, would actually provide 2 more food everywhere that's got one of the early food buildings. That's actually surprisingly good. Just maybe not to this city. We're doing... Do I have the... Presumably have some of those. So yeah, that's 8 science, that's 8 science, that's 8 science.
You have unlocked
Grain Star.
To safely travel the dangerous, hungry oceans.
Seafaring.
You can cause trouble anywhere you...
Cause trouble anywhere we like. We'll take Meditate often for the extra religious combat strength. like that, I think we're doing a pretty strong advance into the city. And this is the last city of this person, so last unoccupied city of this person, so we will be able to bring them to the negotiating table real fast at this point.
You expect greetings? Blades would be more appropriate.
Yep, they will come to the negotiating table on the following turn. You provide stability. Would it be a bad idea to pick one of you up? It doesn't really matter where I put you, so we can just put you somewhere. The Whisper of Witches! Great city of full and hard times, citizens whisper that there is doing witches and other sorcerers living in their midst. They've taken the matters in their own hands, accusing outspoken young women of being a ringleader, imprisoning the pitiable rabble from little more than hearsay. What should you do with the accused? Condemn or forgive? Move towards progress. Gain more science or condemn them. Move back towards tradition. Go with the forgive. Oh, and I can't, without changing the recruitment place, I can't build another military unit. That's what the complaint was there. Okay. And I suppose technically I have Roma building the religious place for Tikal. Which actually probably is a good idea, because Tikal needs the support. Stability. And then they would be the other one to do it, so I can continue grabbing more territory. Well, continue grabbing some more territory that we already have, right? It's grabbing the claims territory. Look at the time. This is a good place to put a part break in. If you're watching on YouTube, we'll have another part up tomorrow. Depending on how things go, the part coming up tomorrow will probably be the last part. We need to get 300 more fame. Let's say 400. 400 more fame. Quicker than anyone else. Or quick at least than the fourth person. Or not the first. The first person. Interestingly, our subject is actually the fame leader. We need to get more fame than the faith leader. The fame leader. And then we can just subjugate the last person and win the game that way. So if you're watching on YouTube, that may be the part up tomorrow. If it isn't the part up tomorrow, I may be tempted to keep going tonight and do a few extra parts. If you're watching on Twitch, this is where I'm going to put a part break in. Take a quick stretch break before we record the next part. It should be a fairly short break. I'm going to try to get the ads out of the way while we're taking that break, but then we'll get right back to it. So until the next part, I wish you all the best of luck and a good time. Catch you all in the next part, and bye for now.